Knapp26 page 01. Testis Ababus claimers, 3902-220. Didn't he get an synthetic assistant from the government and Boer, her fiancé, leaves him because of it. Dr. Farthen hires him to present his lectures on UFOs in town. Moe and Curly, the assistants to the doctor, arrives and so the doctor pays him his due and moves on. 09 Willamford Airtack, scientist, hires him to test a submarine together with Ergo the Negro Man. The Hooker Incorporated installed new engines on the ship. 11 On high seas, en route to the River of the Gnomes, where Airtack believes he could find a treasure, they find Mosasaurus. 12 Searching for the fjord. 13 Mr. Airtack went ill and they went back to Oxyborian City. 14 They get him to the hospital. 18 Some burglars tried to rob the submarine and Ergo die fighting against them. 19 Claimers takes the submarine out of the pier and into the sea. 22 Traveling on high seas, he landed to get fruits and water. Then he arrives to Lunar City. Some people from the University of Lunar hires his services and the submarine to realize an expeditionary exploration. Mr. Sherian the Dean pays him. The team was composed by Professor Gustavio, Mr. Agatob and others. With the money they give him in advance, claimers hired a crew on the Lodge, Luani Underunt, Knopfen, and N. Zurich, Anlinen, Boren, Zinge, Traub. 30 The crewman arrives to the submarine. 31 Wanda Lodge let him kiss her. Chapter 2 Departure. From Oxyborian to the south, arriving to the Axis promontory. Then through a fjord. The scientists disembarked, also Boren and Zinge went to the exploration. Claimers and some of the crew remains at the submarine. 34 Mr. Gustavio finds some relics from the time of King Nito of the Gnomes. 36 A spider scared Miss Lyringa the scientist. 37 Miss Lyringa finds a temple. 39 Clay figurines are found. 47 Moaning are heard coming from the temple. 51 Burial place of the gnomes is found. 56 Dr. Gustavio died at a tunnel from a fall and Dr. McCandless died of an heart attack. 59 Walking back to the submarine, where they arrive some 5 days later. 63 Wanda is with claimers as a lover. 65 The Mosasaurus attacks. 71 They arrives to Oxyborian with Miss Luani ill. Claimers hire some men 5 to protect the submarine, while at the docks. Wanda receives her wages and leaves the submarine with the rest, except Boren and Zinge. Mr. Agatob from the Oxyborian University hires Mr. Claimers to take the remaining statuettes from King of the Gnomes Temple and bring it to him. He also hires synthetic men to do the digging. In 2 weeks they reach the fjord and the OB 036342 nicknamed Ab-Zero synthetic man is in charge of the digging party of robots. 93 Finding some statuettes at a pyramid, not having found the temple, they realize this are made of emeralds. Some others were made of copper and emeralds. 95 At the submarine they piled more than 60 statuettes. 99 Claimers sent the synthetic men to dig some more, and then he leaves the fjord and into the sea with the statuettes. 100 They traveled and arrives to Herta Seaport, a nice recreational center for the rich people from Rixiberg City. 111 Microdontosaurs lurking at the docks. They traveled now to Rixiberg in a flyer, and they sold some emerald statuettes. 121 They bought a synthetic assistant second-hand, made entirely of metal cheap, and a plastic model. Zinge calls them Hugh and Verdine. 122 Zinge returns with the money and the 2 robots to the submarine. 123 Claimers rents his submarine to a team of hunters, who brought some women on board. 125 Mr. Hopper is the chief of the hunting expedition. 126 To the ancient place of the gnomes. 129 Women on board, a good sight. The hunters team Mr. Hopper, Mr. Harkin, Mr. Regenwiran, Mr. Grawl, Empar El Umleg, Miss Lenda, Miss Pedisa, Miss Anidia, Miss Asuna, Miss Evolva, Mr. Taxon, Mr. Kitabo, Mr. Melker, Mr. Sutog, Mr. Mimitor, Miss Enilid, Miss Lalita, Miss Galasa, Miss Riaba, Miss Ayla. 135 Mosasaurus learning in the sea. 137 Claimers frolicked with 2 ladies on board. 140 The synthetic persons helps man the submarine. 141 The hunters go hunting, and Verdine goes with them to keep on with the communication. They saw guanlongs and paranicodons. 149 The Decreosaur eats the barbecue. 152. Hunters going for an ornithologists. 160. The hunters goes into a ravine. 171. Mr. Hopper finds a land-crashed orb spaceship. They saw a Massasaur, a Saltopo. Mr. Hacker missed the shout but hit Verdin instead. 180. While returning to the submarine they saw a Distillasaur. 186. They saw a Decentaurus. They arrives to the submarine. Claimbers asks 709.000 soaps for the loss of Verdin. 192. They traveled back to Oxyborian. Paid. Claimbers gives only a small amount of money to his crew. Only Boren and Zange remains aboard. 204. They decided to went back to the fjord of the Gnome, for to rescue the orb spaceship. Claimbers hired an expert on machines, Dr. Shimeen. 230. En route to the fjord. 232. At the site, the doctor walked into a Ceratosaurus and was eaten. Inside the 100 in diameter orb, Hugh repairs it and they flew to Origloro, where Claimbers sold the submarine in 8 million soaps, but the crew Zange and Boren defected, hired to man the submarine. Mr. Nestor Alvarez, a merchant, hired the orb to transport goods to Ori to Planet 3, paying 3 million soaps. Claimbers hired some people to man the orb: Miss Christiana, Mrs. Ordok, Cleo, and Dreffin. They arrived to Ori to Planet 3 with the captain Claimbers dead because of alcohol abuse on a party. 283. Hugh finds Mr. Samrog Claimbers and Miss Regina Claimbers. When giving some of the inheritance to Mr. Samrog, that man gets an overdose of liquor and died. Miss Regina refuses to accept the inheritance. 299. Hugh takes the orb to the South Pole on Knapp, landed and shut off all systems including himself. The end. February 11, 2012, 3:16:13 a.m. Synopsis of the previous books. 26 and 27 Knapp. Knapp26 written by Alfred Juliet Frascara. Science Fiction Saga. Volume 28. 26 November 2011. Knapp26. August to November 2011. Synopsis. 1. Queen Gerardette of Knapp sent a spaceship to Brana 1. Vulcan planet to buy several surplus spaceships, with the spaceship NG-15, capable of warp 4, under Captain Vocularis, Lieutenant Adlara, Colonel Rarnoff, Miss Oroba, Engineer Missoula, Laskarov. They missed the point and ends up in Brana 2, a known location. They crash landed on a planet and saw some Philidins. 9. They found another spacecraft derelict in the vicinity. They saw an octopus killing a giant man. Rago, Subseco, Shiaser. Insects inside the alien vessel. They split into groups to explore. Vocularis and 13 others, Colonel Rarnoff, with the rest. Subseco, Zana, Homa, Rieha, Jericina, Pigrer, Rago, Homa. Rarnoff finds humans' bluish skin. They arrive to a walled city. They slept at the house of the poor. Soon they get jobs, soaps is the currency. Subseco and Zana returns to the hills to find Vocularis' team to take them to that city. 12. Chapter 3. Subseco and Zana. Colophysis. Mamavan City. Celarus, serpents, the sea. They found fishermen, the Zirico. More Colophysis. 18. From there to an island with a ditto and other fishermen. Euplacephalus. Eustreptospondyle. Jungle. A ditto and the fisherman goes. Colophysis, Mimi. Centrosaur. A ditto comes back and went back to the continent. Stygilosaur, they arrived to the tribe. Adamimo. Esalidosaur, Zohanna and Subseco departed back to the city on foot. Mamavan City, Rarnoff welcomed them, so Vocularis did. Soon the black insects attacked but were defeated. 23 Chapter 4. Captain Vocularis' team. Meanwhile and back in time, Vocularis on the alien spaceship. Insects inside the vehicle. Giants' corpses. Diplodocus, Colophysis. After a walk by the mountains they find a city on a middle-age situation. Lodging at the house of the poor, Laskarov and Missoula were there, and soon Rarnoff appears. They begin doing wine. Soaps means money. And gunpowder. They bought a farm. Lord Sufo asks for guns. Colonel Rarnoff in charge now of the fabrication of explosives for the kingdom. That is located at Planet 2 star Markarfo. Names given by Captain Vocularis. King Abinataba, cousin of Lord Sufo. Rarnoff to make 3 cannons per month. Missoula in charge of the powder factory. Markarfo of the melting plant to make bronze cannons. The black alien carnivore insects attacks the city of Mamaban. 31. Chapter V. Lord Sufo. King Abinadaba dies a year later. Queen Ruta inherits the throne. Lord Sufo opposed. Euplacephalus. Lord Sufo rebelled against 37. Queen Ruta. At the gates, Lord Sufo dies transposed by a lance. Colonel Rarnoth was killed by a cannonball. 39. Vocularis flee with some others: Shiasur, Zana, Aglera, Palma, Oroba, Riaha, Jericina, Laskarov, Kagrar, Subseco, Missoula and natives Quoma, Imara, and others. Shiasur and Palma in romance. Shiasur finds the chronomobile. 42. Shiasur on Ariabaldum. Chapter 6. He find people living at this new planet. Civilization equals 20th century Earth. 3. Plenty of helicopters. He meet Lanira, others are Kelir, Dinigo. The planet is called Ariabaldum. The city is attacked by aerial vehicles with laser weapons. Guloon City. Euphidius the engineer. Kinjalis Imandus. Euphidius named the new Ministry of War. Octopus sapiens defeated. They had human slaves to work. 45 for them but not anymore. Shiasur returns to the chronomobile in helicopter, went to fetch people at the second planet of Markartho star. He takes Riaha and 49. Palma in this first trip. He returns to planet 2 Markartho star. Archaeopteryx. But he is attacked by a Stygimalach and went back hurt. Kelir and Pinigo helps him rent helicopters to fetch the 51 chronomobile. Shiasur said to Oma that their romance is over, so she stabbed him. While Shiasur is in the hospital, Lanira knifed Oma. After a time, Shiasur went again, for the third time, to planet 2 Markartho with Lanira, Dechusaurus, Licorianus, Stygimalach. They return to Sleek to Ariabaldum and back again to planet 2 Markartho. This time they find ex-Captain Vocularis. They went back to Ariabaldum planet. Omisaurus. After some time, they bring the chronomobile to the Nishizawa Industries, technical section. Soon Vocularis became chief of engineers and making a new supersonic plane. 61. Chapter 7. Vocularis bought a farm and let the chronomobile there, while he works at the city. Shiasur and Lanira stay at the farm. Eggs and milk is produced from Parasaurolophus walkeri. 462. Kelir, Pinigo, Lanira and Shiasur working at the farm. Alascasophale. Assistants Lycobian, Togator, Mutuberance. Rashid and Belaint are the bad guys. So Shiasur fired them. Rashid and Belaint smashed the controls at the chronomobile. Marcaro Figiline, engineer 65, is hired to repair the vehicle. At a trip to the Guloon City, Shiasur and Lanira find both Rashid and Belaint, and they had a fight. Figiline repairs the chronomobile, and they hired a cryptologist Ashana Timefer to translate the signs at the consoles. 69. Chapter 8. The experiments. Ashana decipher the signs. Now they can use the chronomobile with all its potentials. Ashana went to work at the city previously assigned and deciphered the stone discs found at the Fibiber Mountains. It was how to build mazer driller cannon. Dropa discs. Berther technician build the cannon. 81. Ashana returns to the farm. Shiasur welcomes 82. Her. Chapter X. Back to the farm. Shiasur, Lanira, Figiline, Marcaro, Ashana, Lycobian, Togator, Mutuberance. The machine is working. Point. The farmers had gone. Money runs short. 83. Shiasur went with Ashana to a planet they called Rock, similar to Knapp. Figiline, Lycobian, Togator arrives. Shiasur went back to the farm. Coelophysis. Mountains. They return after 3 days with nothing. 86 of value. 489. Shiasur saves Lycobian and Togator, while a carnosaur was roaming the woods. 90. Lord Euphidius leased them a cannon to hunt big animals. Shiasur sends some prospectors to Planet Rock, who found emeralds that he brought back to Ariabaldum. Prospectors are 3 Jobber and 2 others. He returns to the farm. 95. And Larnia was happy to see the jewels. In some helicopter Lord Euphidius sent, they went to the far mountains to hunt big dinosaurs for me to sell. Shiasur, Ashana, Mutuberance, 3 soldiers, and Figiline. When firing to some conchoraptors, the cannon explode, killing everyone but Ashana. She eventually returns to the field. Lanira was very shocked to hear about it. Lord Euphidius tried to help them stay, but Vocularis appears saying he is the sole owner, and is going to sell the ranch. Lanira and Ashana returns to the city in a truck. leaving all behind. The end. Knapp27. Written from 10 to the 26th of November 2011. Science fiction written by Alfred Juliet Frascara. 44 pages. Epicure 4.221 started for D998,002.0123 characters from Knapp equals at the government Queen Gerardet, Count Neutrix, Lord Quam, Treasurer Worthen, Duke Consular, Councillor Fatimans, Chamberlain's Menace, Minister of Economy Sir Merrips, Minister of Minor Preproperus Capricer, Lord Ettern, Lord Welk, Sir Lucht, Gamedio from the Minister of Economy. Starfleet Personnel Admiral Cassipi-67, Captain Commander Lacerno, Captain Commander Gelide, First Officer Ottoburnio, Pilot Sepicorio, Gunner Kinspur, Lieutenant Commander Canuss, Fleet Captain Bidens, Cadets Prodisco, Paxillus, Inolans, Expers, Ensigns Conchutus, Etritus, Initus, Quamato, Vivirdix, Sablatu, Wula Fernan 24. Commander Zolit, Crewman Ratal. Commander Spatunier 98, Ensigns Uridald 32, Fuad Fafardo Louder 23 Musician, Dr. Maccabit 56, Pilot Gibaldo 25, Ensign Ottoburnio 28, Sepicorio 28. Chapters 1, Admiral Cassipi 2, Voyage to the Fourth Planet. Queen Gerardet bought several spaceships and Admiral Cassipi travels with them to planet 4th Pedisiquus, where he finds several illegal mining operations, so he takes those in custody, but in one of them he finds machinery not of Nappian origin but alien. After some time, a small fleet appears bringing the Kabul aliens from Kappa Hydra of the First Prana. The Kabulian fleet attacks but they were defeated by the Admiral Cassipi's fleet. Cassipi had 2 wives in the course of the narration: Wula, who was a pilot, and then Medela, with whom he engendered a baby girl. Also, they find an alien vessel and they take it to engross the Nappian space fleet. The end.